let's start. Let's check on. Well, I forgot to connect it to internet, so bear with me a second. First of all, this presentation has plus 2 parts. So this is Vagrant. We'll go ahead and download for OS X. And we also need now I have VirtualBox already downloaded. So let's go ahead and install. Now let's install Vagrant. Now, to fully use Vagrant, you will have to make use of one of the scripting languages that it comes up with, one of the automation tools like Chef or Puppet. We will use Puppet in this presentation. And also, there are a couple of websites around the net that generates Puppet files. That generates Puppet files specifically for Vagrant, so it will come up with a full development environment already set up. You only have to download and run it. So we'll use Puppet this time. What this website does when it comes up. If it comes up. Yeah, alright. It will generate all the Puppet files needed for full-blown development environment. what you download from the website, it will look like this. And the main file you want to look at is this one. This tells Puppet what needs to be done, what needs to be installed, what needs to be provided. Okay, so I would rather try a bit more until this website comes up. Okay, here it is. So now we want to generate this Vagrant file. The Vagrant file is the file that initializes the Vagrant environment, the VirtualBox environment. So we choose to install Ubuntu Precise. Here we define the name of the virtual machine. This is the local virtual machine IP address. We will give it 4 gigabytes of RAM. Then we instruct the virtual machine, the Vagrant, to forward the 80 port to the 8080 port on the host machine. And then we can sync between the host folders and the virtual machine folders. So now we sync the var www on host machine with the same folder on the host machine, on the guest machine. Sorry. Here we can install server packages like you do with apt-get or yum, or let's install, say for example, git core. Now we generate the configuration of the web server. We will choose Nginx for this one. And we will set up a virtual host. This one. Okay, now we have the option to choose the PHP version. We will choose 5.3 for this one. We don't need Composer. We also have the option to install different PHP modules and also peer modules. Let's say we want to install ImageMagick. And Xdebug and XHProf. These are the configuration for the database. You can set up the root password. There are also options to create a user and database. We won't do that for this one. And then this will generate all the Vagrant file and also the Puppet files. So that's our files right here. We'll open the terminal and navigate to it. And now, if we do Vagrant up, it will just generate, it will just create a virtual initialized it. So why should you use Vagrant and not use Exam or Aquastar or anything else? All of them are useful, all of them are good tools, but with Vagrant you can do more. You can automate most of the tasks by making use of Puppet. You can reuse most of the code, and you can create multiple development environments. So for example, you have staging, production, pre-production, and so on and so forth. You can't do that with the regular stacks already out there, but you can do that with Vagrant. And yeah, before you could do that with VirtualBox, but now you can automate VirtualBox by making use of Vagrant. So that's basically the definition of Vagrant. Also, you can replicate the say for example you have multiple clients. One client has one environment, another client has a different environment. So with Vagrant you can replicate the exact environment of each and every client. So that's useful. Different configurations, different PHP version, different web server version. That's where Vagrant comes handy. While waiting, if you have any questions, I would happily reply. Yeah.
Is Vagrant focused on using it on your local developer machine, or it can be used in a server-centric environment?
You can use it, well, I make the most use of it on my local machine by cloning multiple development environments, but I suspect you can use it on a server-centric environment. I don't see why not. It's a fully virtualized solution, so if the server supports virtualization, you should be able to make use of it. Yeah. Alright. Sorry for the snafu. Now let's go into it by using Vagrant SSH and see what happens. Presumably we should have Nginx installed, PHP installed, and also MySQL. Nope, that didn't install it. Let's see why. Thank you. Okay, let's try this one more time. Now we want to destroy that machine because there is no use for it, so we use Vagrant destroy. And let's try with a different configuration I've downloaded earlier. Similarly, we run Vagrant up. Any other questions? Yep. Yep. For example, you can configure one box, one virtual machine, and then you can package it as it is in that state and pass it on to another developer or a colleague or a working colleague. So yeah, you can install it and then repackage it and pass it on to a colleague of yours, for example. And when he adds it, it will come pre-installed. So it's not you don't have to set it up multiple times. You can set it up once, then distribute it across your working environment.
What I meant to ask is, how do you solve the problem if on another environment, like your production environment, you need more severe requirements, like hardware requirements, or different server requirements for performance, for instance?
Okay, all right. Well, that's where the Vagrant file. That's where the Vagrant file comes into play. And say, for example, you want more RAM on your production machine.
So you need to create another file for your other...
Basically, you only need to modify one option. You don't have to modify all the script. You only need to modify the Vagrant file, because that's where the main instructions for the virtual machines are.
Is it possible to parameterize?
Yeah.
Use parameters so you can give the environment as a parameter to the Vagrant file.
That's exactly what is it for. So the Vagrant file gets all the parameters of it. You can define the IP. You can tell it to forward ports and what ports to be forwarded. You can tell it about what the folders do you want synced. You can also close and open a port range, and you can also tell it how much memory do you want allocated to that machine, and so on and so forth. And it has a lot of parameters. I haven't mastered them all myself, but yeah, what I wanted to do, I managed to do within that file.
Thanks.
Thanks. Connected to the question before, you just opened that Vagrant file, and if my eye is not deceiving me, that's total Ruby code. And what if you don't have Ruby developers at home? I mean, I totally love Ruby, but not all the companies have a Ruby developer who can code a Ruby Vagrant file. I mean, is that written in Ruby, right?
It looks like Ruby, yeah. It looks like Ruby, but you know what? I'm not a Ruby developer myself either, but I've managed to read it and interpret it. It's not like rocket science. Well, if you are one web developer and you know, say for example, PHP, you should be able to read Ruby. Not necessarily write it, but be able to change one value.
Yeah, but why not use something like YAML or some XML-based thing or something like that that's widespread, that has widespread usage, like YAML, for instance, and it's
YAML. You mean YAML?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about that. I think you need to speak with the guy who basically did Vagrant.
No, it's just for me. It looks a bit exclusive to have settings in a file that's written in Ruby.
But given that the Ruby is up there with most web development languages, it's not very exclusive, is it?
Well, obviously not. I totally love Ruby, but it was just fun. But thanks a lot for the answer anyway.
You're very welcome. I think we're a bit stuck here, so we might have to restart. hopefully, fingers crossed, we will manage to pull this through. Alright, let's start. Obviously, it had to fail right now because I've been doing it. I was repeating most of the day yesterday, and it was working. So yeah, like all things, it breaks when it needs to. Anyway, if this won't work, then we will do it manually. So we'll install Nginx and everything else manually. Sorry that the internet connection dropped. That's one disadvantage of Puppet. You probably need an internet connection along with it, but that's not like a disadvantage because you need an internet connection anyway to install the package. I'm not very good at presentation, sorry about that. I didn't come up with slides and so on and so forth. So
mai poate să punem o întrebare?
Da.
Okay, so let's see a scenario. You have a team with, let's say, 3 Linux developers and the front-end developer who works on Windows.
Okay.
So from what I've saw on your configuration, you have some assumptions like we'll link /var/www to some folder.
Yeah.
In Windows, it's a different structure. So if you distribute a Vagrant file, will it work on Windows?
Yeah, it is cross-platform. Vagrant itself is cross-platform as it is VirtualBox. So presumably, if you have this scenario, you will want to work on your folder structure, just to be the same on all operating systems. example, if you have one Windows machine, you won't use var www. You will use, I don't know, another path.
Okay, but let's say you use for Linux slash, I don't know, slash www. On Windows it would be cw backslash. It's a different structure for the path.
It is.
So basically you have to distribute two machines, one for Windows, one for Linux?
Well, not necessarily, because the main server will be the same. Yeah, if you work in, you won't need, for example, you won't need a specific Vagrant for front end. Is it? Because everything will be kept on the server.
Yeah, I know. I'm not talking about the folder on the server, on the Vagrant machine, but it is mapped to something on the local machine.
Yeah. Well, the honest answer is I don't know.
Okay.
It might be a way, but I don't know about it.
Okay.
I have
Thanks.
a question about this.
You're welcome.
I think that
I just wanted to say that I think you have two options. You either distribute the Vagrant file and you simply change the path and you make a new machine, or do you want to distribute the final virtual machine? Because if you distribute the final virtual machine, probably it's going to be a problem with the linking. But if you change the Vagrant config file to C 2 points backslash, and then it will just generate a new machine for Windows.
Now,
Probably that will be faster.
The problem is, how do you sync the same folder onto a Linux and a Windows machine? On the Windows and OS X, it's simple because you still have var www, but how do you do it with the Linux and Windows machine?
we have a server-centric environment. We have a server-centric.
It is server-centric, but it's more
Yeah, but
Unix-centric.
you have that linked on the server, and then you solve the problem.
Yeah. All right, almost there. Like other visualization. It doesn't work only on Linux, it works on all platforms. Obviously it works on OS X.
What I asked is how do you compare with Linux containers? Like, I don't know, there are other solutions that are faster
And this,
but it works only on Linux, that's the main issue.
I don't quite understand the question.
For example, Vagrant is quite slow at some things.
It is slow. It is not meant for production environment. It is not meant as a replacement for KVM, for example. It's meant as a lightweight, portable development environment. So that's it, the development environment which you can install and then distribute it across all your team. So it's not meant to be a replacement for. It is, but this one is friendlier in the means that it already comes up with Puppet implementation. It's Puppet aware, it's Chef aware. It's easier to configure and set up, and that's about it. If you want to go into KVM and Linux containers, then you need to have more in-depth knowledge about system administration. This one you can easily set up as as a developer without in-depth knowledge of system administration. I think that's where it comes in. It's not Vagrant that's slower. Actually, it's the virtual box. Vagrant makes use of virtual box. Presumably, they will make the same thing for Linux containers in the future. I don't know. Yeah. Okay. Let's go into it now. Okay, now we have Nginx. Presumably we will have PHP and MySQL. Yeah. Okay, now we already have Drupal on for www, so let's go ahead and install MariaDB. We will install MariaDB manually. I didn't manage to get a Puppet module for it working. We'll first set up our repository. For those who don't know, MariaDB is a drop-in replacement for MySQL. It comes with some modification and it's faster in some regards, some aspects. Alright, now we will reload the machine. Basically, reloading is the same with restarting. And now we should be ready to install Drupal on it. Okay, now we should have Drupal installed. Yep. Thanks for all the support. It's really embarrassing to be right here and speechless. Okay. Now the hard part. Are there any more questions? Okay, yeah. I can send the machine, let's package it. It's as simple as Vagrant package. Well, this will take another while, so I'd rather answer more questions or finish this one, and I will upload the box on I don't know, anyone who needs the machine. I would be happy to provide it. This will take a bit until compressing, packaging, and so on.
I have a question.
Yep.
After you package the machine and you send it to a colleague, and he starts it, will it start it with Vagrant or just VirtualBox?
You have to install VirtualBox, then Vagrant, and then use Vagrant add the name of the machine, of box, and it will come pre-installed with everything. So you don't have to install Nginx and MariaDB.
Because it's already installed.
It is installed, yeah. So that's what packaging is doing. It's basically archiving the state of the machine.
So you have to send the virtual machine and the Vagrant configuration.
Not really. It comes in the same file. So I basically send you one file called, I don't know, Nginx box.box, and then you do Vagrant add Nginx.box, and it will come up pre-installed as I set it up.
With all the files inside
With everything, yeah.
and the mapping.
Yeah, basically whatever is in the Vagrant file, when I've done Vagrant package, you will get when you do Vagrant add. Well, I think that's it. Thank you guys.